This is Energy Perspectives, a weekly podcast produced in Guyana that delves into the developments unfolding in the world's fastest growing economy.
Hi there. Welcome to this week's episode of the Energy Perspectives podcast. I am your hostess, CEO of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo, Kiana Wilberg. Today, I am delighted to have with us the High Commissioner from the UK to Guyana, Ms. Jane Miller. High Commissioner, welcome to our program. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me.
High Commissioner, I'd love to jump straight into our questions. You have been regarded as one of the most enthusiastic champions of Guyana. What first sparked your admiration for this country?
It was the people. I mean, their genuine warmth. The way that I have been welcomed and my family from the day I arrived has just been inspiring. The way I'm invited to people's homes, to parties, to events, but even at work, just the most amazing teamwork. You've just got the most incredibly warm and bright people.
Thank you. With all the time you've spent here thus far, what would you say is one of the unique aspects of this country that the world still doesn't fully appreciate?
I think it's the biodiversity. I mean, yes, the world is beginning to hear about Guyana now, and I think they're beginning to hear about oil and gas and economic growth. But one thing I think is unique about the country is the incredible biodiversity. When you go into the rainforest, when you go up the creeks, the wildlife, the bird life is incredible. So I think that's makes it a very unique country at the moment.
Thank you. Now, Guyana is on a remarkable growth trajectory. From your perspective, what do you see as the most exciting opportunities for collaboration between our country and the UK in the coming years?
Well, the collaboration is in many areas. As a High Commission, we have 3 priority areas that we're working on. One, which is improving trade between our countries. And in the 3 years that I've been here, we've tripled the trade between UK and Guyana.
Wow.
Last year, £1.8 billion worth of trade between the UK and Guyana. So that's one area. The other area is democracy and governance, working with the country on elections, working with the country on human rights issues. And the third area is forestry and biodiversity and the nature of the country. So we work on sustainable forestry, working on indigenous people's rights and their livelihoods. So those are the areas I see amazing opportunities for collaboration, where we can bring in expertise from around the world, where we can learn as well as Guyana learning from our experience elsewhere.
Fantastic. Now, you've been a key participant of the Guyana Energy Conference and Supply Chain Expo, and I must say you've done such a fantastic job in moderating and sharing your perspectives. But what for you were some of the key outcomes of your involvement?
Well, excuse the pun, but I think it's the energy. I mean, the dynamism of the energy conference, the way you have businesses from all over the world mixing with the Guyanese businesses, seeking opportunities of collaboration. So I think that's been really good. I think you've had some excellent speakers, and I think that has been really good. I like the panels that you've pulled together with interesting people, having diverse perspectives and debating with one another and opening it up for questions amongst the audience. I think it's been really good. But for me, I think it's the networking and the collaboration and the true energy of the conference, the number of people that are there, really showing enthusiasm to this market, to the Guyana market.
Thank you, High Commissioner. Now, I want to go back to a point you touched on previously, and that is Guyana's immense tourism potential. You have been such a champion for the beauty of this country, but what strategic step or steps do you think are necessary to truly elevate Guyana as a world-class destination?
I mean, firstly, it'll be about infrastructure. We're already seeing that being developed. So I think that's really important. It's very expensive to get into the interior. And I think the way in which infrastructure is being improved, that will become more accessible. I think the other thing is training. It's about really improving opportunities for people to understand hospitality and what world-class hospitality looks like. You know, in Georgetown, the number of new hotels is growing enormously. And in the interior, there are new lodges, there's new eco destinations. But having good training, I think, is going to be really important to really nail Guyana as a real global eco destination.
Thank you, High Commissioner. Now, it's a well-established fact that Guyana is going to receive an increased amount of oil revenues, particularly in the period of 2027 to 2030. What are your thoughts about how this country should build its institutions to ensure that this newfound wealth is well managed and sustained?
I mean, building institutions takes time. It's not something you can just say, hey, presto, we're going to have a new banking system and legal system. But it's about making sure that that momentum is maintained throughout. Institutions do need to be strengthened. The institutions of Guyana were developed when the economy was tiny. And now it's the fastest growing economy in the world, and there needs to be deliberate effort, deliberate energy on building all the institutions, whether you're talking about procurement or finance, whether you're talking about banking or legal or judiciary. All those systems, all those institutions need to be strengthened to be the institutions of a high-income country. It will take time and we need patience, but it's about collaboration internationally. It's about having the right human resources. It's about training. So there's a load that needs to happen. I think what happens now is making sure that that effort is there and is sustained over time. It's not going to happen overnight. You're not going to have, a completely unbureaucratic, perfectly digital system overnight. Wouldn't that be lovely? But it's going to take time. We have to have patience, but making sure that effort is deliberate and maintained is absolutely essential.
Thank you so much, High Commissioner. 2 closing questions. The relationship between the UK and Guyana has been a really deep and phenomenal one. As you noted, trade has really surpassed expectations. But what do you think are the key areas where this partnership can even be made stronger?
I would like to see even more trade happening. And we've had a number of business delegations come through. We had a trade mission just a few weeks ago. And I think there's huge opportunities for UK businesses to do more work here. Education, we've got a historical relationship. I'd love to see even more education happening here. City and Guilds is already delivering courses and they could deliver so much more. So I think that the UK, because of our close relationship, our language is similar, our legal systems, our parliamentary systems are very similar. We have expertise that we believe we can share, and we can learn from Guyana as well. So I think it's a two-way relationship, but I think trade is an area where I think we can do even more. Even though we're now, as Guyana, the leading trading partner with the UK and the whole of the Caribbean, I think there's even more we could be doing.
And indeed. Finally, High Commissioner, as Guyana positions itself as a global leader in energy and sustainable development, what are your hopes and aspirations for the legacy this substantial wealth could mean for future generations?
What a good question, and a difficult one. I think it goes back to the institutions and making sure that they are strengthened, but also remembering Guyana's incredible biodiversity, getting that balance between being an oil and gas country as well as preserving the nature and the incredible biodiversity. And I know you've got the low carbon development strategy, you've got the President's biodiversity summit that he's going to be doing next year. And I think just maintaining that balance is going to be utterly critical, together with strengthening the institutions. Those are going to be the foundations for Guyana's future.
High Commissioner, I want to thank you so much for your incredible insights. I know our audience has learned quite a lot, and I thank you as well for tuning in. Please be sure to join me next week, same time, same place, for more incredible insights from thought leaders here and around the world. This is Kiana Wilberg saying goodbye for now.
Thank you for listening to the Guyana Energy Perspectives podcast. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.